So we are now in the weirdest setting in the world. I do apologise for that. Kind of feel like I'm sat in a kid's playground, but I'm not. I'm in another hotel in America in what has become the craziest time of my life. So I did have some dime time. I thought to myself, who are the current WWE champions? And let's rank them in a certain order. Now, I probably missed somebody out because I am an idiot and I'm so tired, but I do believe there are 15 title holders in WWE right now. So we shall start with number 15. And I think it counts as a championship. It's Charlie Dempsey and the Heritage Cup. Now, I do like the fact that NXT does have heritage rules, especially because it ties into England, which is where I'm from, which is a ridiculous thing to say. But ultimately, it's just one of those things that I've never really got invested in, because mostly NXT doesn't do much with it. Like, it was fun when Noam Dar had it, and it was even better when Charlie Dempsey did win it, because of course he is the son of William Regal. But I kind of feel like the 2-minute rounds thing doesn't really translate to a modern day audience. Like, I quite enjoy it, but again, if somebody said something had to go away tomorrow, and it was the Heritage Cup, I don't think that I'd be sad about it. However, what we can do here is if we can get 5 years down the line, the Heritage Cup is still a thing, and a few people that have won that have gone on maybe to even win the WWE title, and we sell that story, then whoever does win the NXT Heritage Cup after that can also go, oh, I have a dream. I want to follow in their footsteps, because it is a pretty brand new thing. It has only been around a few years. And some people go, oh man, that's ages. Well, not really. The world title's been around for what, like 57 years? I just totally made that up. Which moves us on to number 14, and yes, I'm including this one too. It's Ricochet's WWE Speed Championship. Now, it's kind of dumb I have put this at number 14 and number 15, because you can ask me right now, Simon, have you watched one speed match? The answer to you is no, I haven't. The main reason for this is because I am blessed to do this for a living, and I get to up those downs over on What Culture. Make sure you subscribe here, and make sure you subscribe over there. And I have enough wrestling in my life. And look, they're only 3 minutes. I do like the concept. I like the fact that WWE hasn't tried to embrace social media platforms like this and keep people's engagement. And once again, maybe it does go on to be this wonderful thing. Although I did see somebody say, oh, they've only introduced this because when Raw goes to Netflix, there won't be any commercials and matches will have to be super duper fast. So, like, it's the opposite. Usually a match speeds up because we are going to go commercial and Michael Cole has to shout, don't go anywhere, please. We need your ratings. Whereas if the Netflix Raw doesn't have any adverts, I mean, we don't know how they're going to handle that at the moment, you can actually have more pay-per-view, premium live event quality matches because you know you don't have to build around the commercial breaks. But look, Ricochet deserves more than just the Speed Championship, so I hope this is a stepping stone for him to get more titles, because the man is one of a kind and he is incredible, but I can't really talk about it. So I'm just going to sit here and act like I know I don't know. Which moves on to number 13, and this is only here because they have only just won them, and I don't even know who they're going to feud with yet, because I haven't seen this week's episode of SmackDown, because I'm recording it just before that, and it is Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, the brand new Women's Tag Team Champions. Now, admittedly, I've also shoved this one there, because over the last few years, WWE just doesn't care about these belts, but that is why I'm pumped for Jade and Bianca to hold them, because this, once again, has to be something we utilize so that we do get to the end of 2024 and we head into WrestleMania 41, which is ages away. These can be propped up as, oh, hi, everybody should watch this because it can make your career. And look, you could even tell the story of Jade and Bianca breaking up way, way down the line, which would also tie into this. But please, for the love of everything, do not forget about them, because when Alba Fire and Isla Dawn hold these things, they may as well not have existed. I had more hair on my head than the amount of people on WWE TV talked about them. And listen, the Kabuki Warriors did do a good job, but as always, they just didn't have enough feuds. We have to have feuds, we have to have programs, and they have to feature more than just we're gonna throw it on a random event, because that just tells your audience that they shouldn't care about it. Because if the people holding them don't care, and the people behind the scenes don't care, how can we care? However, look at this. I am keeping everything crossed. I think these two guys are absolutely great. If you just allow them to do their thing, they're going to totally smash it. At the moment, it does come in at 13. And we move back down to NXT and the Tag Team Championships there, and it's Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Now listen, I do love these two. They are absolutely amazing, especially Nathan Frazier, because he's so darn fast. But I do find that when I do watch NXT, the tag titles kind of get something like can be passed around a lot, which actually I am a fan of, because if every single title you do have doesn't change hands, it does get a little laborious, which was a conversation that everybody was having in 2003. We're now in 2024, and we have switched a lot of the belts. And given that we do have all these new champions, I would pick one and I would make sure they did lose it soon just to keep the audience on their tipsy toes. But not this one. I would go the other way with the NXT tag titles, because of course the Wolf Dogs held it before this, and we all knew this was going to happen. The only reason they did lose them is because Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker got called up to the main roster, which was the right idea. When you have that in your skull as well, you kind of go, well, that undermines these championships a little bit. So if we do allow Nathan Frazier and Axiom to hold them for a long time, given that they are so good, they are so unique, and they are so fast, they could build a proper dynasty with these things. So yeah, yes, we'll have to wait and see. But I always give NXT a little bit of a pass because while some people get so mad about this, it is a third brand, and of course it's going to the CW network in a few months, but it is also a territory where we're trying to develop wrestlers. So every now and then, if we do try something and it doesn't work, that's where it should be happening, and you should be more critical if that does go down on Raw or SmackDown. Although ultimately, I would much rather that all wrestling companies do take risks. Listen, these two guys are absolutely great. One day they should be on either Monday or Friday nights, and we should let them fly. But I'm still standing by my rank. And it's the same with Obafemi, who is the current North American champion. Now, I do love this guy, and I think he has huge potential, especially because he's only been doing this a couple of years, or whatever it is, but I also think he needs a proper feud to able to establish himself as the champion. Like, he's gone through a lot of guys, and I think I pretty much enjoyed every single match he has had. And actually, this belt has not a bad history when you get into it, but ultimately, every single champion needs that one person that you can face them with, like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. That's what made that so intriguing. I understand that we're trying to protect Oba at the moment, which we should do. Listen, I'm super happy that Dijak got called up. Dijak should have been called up as Dijak ages ago, and we should just do exactly what we did with him on NXT, on Raw, SmackDown. But I would love to have seen an elongated program between these two, because Dijak's absolutely crazy. And Obafemi is a bit nuts, but he's kind of a cool character as well. And again, anyone like Dijak that does have that kind of experience is only going to help Oba. However, I do like that the fact this title has sort of become a rookie championship, for lack of a better word. Like we do seem to nowadays put it on people who are trying to get better and who WWE has gone, oh, hi. They have all the potential in the world. And again, Obafemi, absolutely massive, totally unique, and every time I do see him in the ring, he just gets better and better. And I think a huge reason for that is because he does have this confidence. And of course, if Shawn Michaels comes up to you and goes, oh, hi, we are going to make you a champion, Shawn Michaels does not sound like that, you are going to start thinking to yourself, maybe I do have what it takes. So I'm very interested to see what direction this does take. At the moment, I think we have to be calm with the numbers, and in my opinion, it's in the right place. This brings us on to number 10, and it's my controversial pick, so bye-bye comments. It's the Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn. Now this, once again, is only because he's only just won it, and I love the fact that he was the guy to defeat Gunther, especially at WrestleMania. I thought that was one of the best matches of the weekend. But at the moment, he is feuding with Chad Gable and Bronson Reed, and while the Chad Gable turn was absolutely magnificent, we need to see what's going to happen after this, because I cannot believe that when we do get through this triple threat, that we are going to take the championship off Sami Zayn. I know I've become a hypocrite, and I just said that somebody should lose their belt sooner rather than later. Even though the character of Sami does work, because he's so good at eliciting sympathy, I don't think you want to take that title off him, because again, if you go through his back catalogue, every time we do give him a championship, we never let him have a long reign, so it should be somebody else. So at the moment, he is doing a great job, but the only reason he's not doing as good a job as Gunther is because he hasn't had time to. I know I'm going against what I did just say, but I think he should get through Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. I think he should get into a proper feud with Chad Gable that we can extend. If we did get to Gable, I wouldn't mind, but then again, you do kind of reset the thing, but it may work. You have to see it in practice, but I wouldn't mind it if he held it all the way through to SummerSlam, and maybe that's when Chad Gable could win it, because as I'm talking to you, it's May, so we've got June, July, August. 3 months. That's a decent title reign. You don't have to worry about that. Not everyone has to hold it for 1,316 days. And either way, the longer you do allow Sami to have it, the better he's going to get, because I truly do believe, in terms of all-time wrestlers, he is one of the most underrated that there has ever been. Genuinely, he can do anything. He went from that Jackass match to the Bloodline, and now he's doing this, and he's changed his character so much. So when we do look back over his career, I think we'll finally realize, oh my gosh, he was amazing. And if we do this in 6 months' time, he will have flown up there. And we're back down to NXT for number 9. It's Trick Williams, the world champion. Now this is very much a developmental thing, because Trick Williams is another guy that has all the potential in the world, but the reason he hasn't got called up is the same reason that we do turn some people heel in NXT before we put them on Mondays or Fridays. We're just trying to give him as much experience as possible. And I think that's really smart. Because 1, he has all the charisma in the world. 2, people absolutely love him. And he is another guy who is clearly listening to all of his training, and he just continues to improve. And because we do all love him, that makes you feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tums. You're like, oh my gosh, Trick, you are going to do it. And I know maybe Carmelo Hayes should have been the champion and Trick should have beaten him instead of Ilya Dragunov. But it was Ilya, who was a crazy person. So that's like a feather in Trick Williams' cap. And ultimately, I don't think this matters. Even if this was the worst championship reign ever, which I don't think it's going to be, when he does get called up, if we have a plan for him and we give him the right opponents and we give him the proper stories, I truly do believe that Trick could be a WrestleMania main eventer, because especially in a company like WWE, if you have the charisma and if you can talk and you have the walk and you have the look, which he does tick all of the boxes, of course you need to be a good in-ring worker too, but sometimes that can be secondary. But again, he is getting better there as well. So I am so excited about the future, but he has only just won it, and again, it is a work in progress, which I'm very, very excited about. but I feel like he has to be here. And it's the same with our women's NXT champion, Roxanne Perez. Because this just ties into what I was talking about. We have turned her heel, 6 or 8 months ago, and given her the championship so she can get used to this role. Now look, if you know anything about Roxy, she's a way better babyface. And she's like Sami Zayn in many ways. She just gets you to make her want to win. But if you do allow her to play both roles, if all of a sudden she ends up in a story, you know what wrestling fans can be like, and they're going boo, boo, and they're not saying boo earns, then she can go back to this experience and go, well, I know what I'm doing. And once again, she has improved at this. Now, I wasn't a personal fan of the promo she did when, oh, you people, I can't believe it, which actually wasn't her fault. It's just been done too much in pro wrestling. But ever since then, especially when she's won the championship, she's got a chip on her shoulder, she's got a bit more edge, not Adam Copeland, he went to AEW, and she just kind of feels like she's a bit of an asshole, which is the point. But you know when she does turn back, again, probably when she gets called up to the main roster, it's going to be perfectly fine. Because even when she was on the Raw after WrestleMania, she basically played that role and everybody was cool with it. Now, she will have great matches with everyone because she was ready to go, like 2 years ago, pretty much when she was signed to WWE. That's how good she is. She is a bit of a savant. And maybe this doesn't go on for that long, but at the moment, we are at the start of all of this, and I do want to see how she does. It sticks at number 9. Which moves on to number 7, which is the World Tag Team Champions, I believe. I get very confused, but it's Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. This one is nice and simple. 1, WWE keep teasing they are going to lose it, which actually would make sense. Again, we talked about it. But 2, ever since WrestleMania, they don't do much of anything. That does tie into their characters, and I do think they're really funny. And I'm actually a big fan of it. I was a bit worried that pre-WrestleMania we were going to break them up and have that feud instead. This is a much better idea. But the fact that I don't really have much to say about it right now, I mean, I guess it does make sense, because we only introduced those belts, like 3 weeks ago, a month ago, whenever the flub it was. But you've probably worked out, as I do sit here and chat to you, I do like it when people are champions and they can actually get involved in something that is a little bit stretched out and has the nitty-gritty, because that's when you can have character work, and that's when you can have stories, and that's when championships start to mean things. Now, I would not put these two together to split them up. I mean, you can, but I'm talking a year down the line, to give them something funny to do and let them win by shenanigans all of the time. Because if there's any dickheads in WWE that can get away with it and will always make me chuckle, is these two. Grayson Waller is great and Austin Theory is great. And when we do this split, I think Austin Theory should be the babyface, because I do think he's a good heel. But if you do watch him in interviews, he's a bit of a goof. I mean that in a positive way. He's got a lovable side to him, and I think we should tap into that. So we do wait and see. But I am happy they're the champions. Because again, if you entertain me, I want you to find success. So you can work out what number 6 is. It's the WWE Tag Team Champions. Maybe I've got that wrong. And it's the Miz and R-Truth. Now you can basically copy and paste everything I did say. They did have that really weird match with DIY that went like 8 minutes and they just won. But I suppose they were the champ. The main reason I did put them ahead of Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, is, you will know this if you watch any of my stuff, I'm basically just in love with R-Truth. And at the moment, it was such a wonderful feeling to see him get his WrestleMania moment. If anybody deserves it, it has been him. So we should just ride this wave for as long as possible. I mean, he's 51, 52 years old. He looks great, he still works great, and he just understands, again, in a good way, what positive wrestling is. And Miz seems to be having fun as well. Although that's another dude that gets a bunch of disrespect. Anybody, when they took their first bump, would trade their career for what Mike Mizanin has done, especially all the hardships he's gone through. So actually, I think this goes for both of them. They do deserve this, and I am just happy to see them getting a little bit of a tap on the shoulder. But even if we get to, like, I don't know, the Saudi Arabia show, and they still have the belts, or they don't lose them there, I would be surprised, but that's why I'm just going to keep enjoying it. Long live R-Truth. He should go in the Hall of Fame tomorrow. And, get mad about this, at one point, he should have a world championship run, I mean it. Let's move on to number 5, and it's Logan Paul and the United States title. Now, it was quite clear that we were going to give Logan a run with the championship at some point, and actually, I think we've done so well with this, because he cheats all the time, using the brass knucks. At WrestleMania, he had iShow Speed involved, which I never thought we would do, and I love that triple threat match between Randy Orton and Kevin Owens and himself. And at the moment, we're kind of teasing multiple programs with him, because we haven't shied away from the fact that it could be LA Knight, but Jey Uso also got involved. And if Randy Orton also turned around and said, well, I'd like to be US champion, again, even though they've been distracted by the new bloodline, that wouldn't be a shock either. Now, this is all building to SummerSlam, which is in Logan Paul's home city. And you can go one of two ways. I mean, it's nice and simple. You either allow him to retain, which the hometown crowd may like, but I still think they'll boo Logan Paul, because that's what he's done anytime he has been on TV. Or you use this to underline it and move on to something else. Now, I personally would like that. I think if Jey Uso could win it, that would be awesome. Or again, Randy Orton. I'm never going to get mad at that, but we've had this conversation 1,000 times. Logan Paul is just really good at wrestling. I know there's another conversation to be had about him when it comes to his outside activities, but we are just focused on sports entertainment right now. He's done a great job, and I understand he rehearses all of his matches, but he still goes out there and he still does entertain, and he has the wow factor to him. That finish, that frog splash he did to get the 1, 2, 3 at Mania was so damn cool. So yeah, long may this continue. And if he does decide to dedicate himself more to pro wrestling, I don't want to be that guy to say it, but I will. Who the hell knows what his ceiling is? Which moves us on to the Women's World Champion at number 4, which is Bayley. Now, at the moment, she has mostly been scrapping with Naomi and Tiffany Stratton, and it kind of feels like we will go into a proper Tiffany Stratton feud soon. And I just really hope that we start to give Bayley more credit, because another poster for a pay-per-view premium live event came out recently, and Bayley wasn't on it. Now, maybe you could justify this when she wasn't a champion, but right now, you cannot. And if somebody does hold that belt, they should be on every single bit of marketing material you have. And once again, you go back to WrestleMania, she had an amazing match with Io Sky. I really, really did enjoy it. And actually, something I would do moving into the summer is I would have Dakota Kai win the Money in the Bank briefcase for the women, have her hold it for a while, because WWE loves changing that one as soon as they possibly can. And even though they are on different brands, Dakota should tease that she could go after anybody, but eventually she should go and find where Bayley is, and we should do that feud. Because as much as the Damage Control stuff has been good, I think if you could do Dakota versus Bayley, it just writes itself. And it is one of those occasions when the Money in the Bank briefcase holder doesn't have to win, because I think Dakota can carry her own. However, we move to current day SmackDown. We're also teasing this is going to be Bayley versus Bianca Belair for that championship. And Bianca may even be playing heel here, much like a Drew McIntyre character, because even though she's justified, because Damage Control have been ruining her career, she seems so angry about it, she may get out of control. Now, I think that feud will be total fire. If it does happen, I shall move this up to number 3. Moving on to number 3, this is going to annoy everyone. I just really like the WWE Women's Champion or something like that, Becky Lynch. Now look, I understand people wanted a random person to win in that Women's Battle Royal, but Becky Lynch is one of the biggest women's stars that WWE has ever had. And given that she did lose to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, which was not the plan at one point, rightfully so, everyone just went, oh, we should keep it on Ripley because she's mega over right now. Just think you can tell better stories. Like, the first match she's having is against Liv Morgan. Becky has so much star power that if Liv Morgan does beat her, it's not going to affect Becky at all. Whereas if you've given it to a Nia Jax or a Chelsea Green or somebody like that, and they lose it that soon, that may actually affect them. But Lynch is bulletproof because of everything that she has done. And actually, I would advocate for that. I think the next pay-per-view is the Saudi Arabia show, the King and Queen of the Ring. If you want to have Becky Lynch lose her championship and Liv Morgan win it there, or push it out to SummerSlam, that's totally fine. And when Rhea Ripley comes back, she should beat Liv Morgan for that championship, of course, because that ties into the narrative. One more match with Becky Lynch, she beats her, and then Rhea Ripley would have taken all the power from Becky Lynch, and she can fly off into the sunset even higher than we're doing now. And that's why I like it. I understand we're at the beginning of it, and I'm speculating a lot of it's fantasy booking, but I have trust in WWE. Now, if I am wrong, you can come back in a few months and say, Simon, you don't know what I'm talking about. And I'll be like, Mum, Dad, why are you here? Now, I do admit that's a controversial one, but I am going to put Damian Priest and his World Championship at number 2, mostly because I get it. What a stupid thing to say. I just love the fact that Damian Priest, the former Punishment Martinez of Ring of Honor, made it to WWE and became the champion, even if it was via Money in the Bank. I also think he's an important cog in the wheel about other stories that WWE are going to tell, and I do not mean that in a disparaging sense. Not every single person can be a super duper mega champion like Roman Reigns, and sometimes you just have to play your part. Now, essentially, Damian Priest did screw over Drew McIntyre, and eventually we're going to get to Clash at the Castle. We're probably going to do Drew versus Damian if McIntyre's over his elbow problem. Drew McIntyre can win it there. It will be a moment and a half, and we did have to give it to someone else. And CM Punk wasn't that guy, even if he was out of his injury, because then what do we go into after that? It will be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. And given that Damian Priest does lose his title, that's when he can leave the Judgment Day, either because they screw him over or they just fall out. So that's why I love this title reign. I think it is going to set up everything that WWE is going to do on the Raw side for 2024. And you cannot do that without Damian Priest. Now, once again, I'm 10 steps ahead of myself, but I totally believe this. And just seeing how far he has come, he's one of these dudes that reminds you, always bet on yourself and always believe in your dream. I do believe he's 40 years old, which goes to show it's never too late. It's just so cool. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good in my tootsie toes. You go kill it, Damian. You're the man. So surprise, who is number 1? Cody Rhodes with the WWE Super Mega title. Now, some people are all like, oh, he doesn't have any good opponents at the moment. Did you see his match with AJ Styles at Backlash? It was absolutely brilliant and got 5 stars by Dave Meltzer. I know that doesn't mean anything, but it is a little bit of evidence we can throw in there. And essentially, I kind of feel like we did what we did with Steve Austin after he won his WrestleMania 14 title. It was like put him with Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mick Foley, because that guy will have good match with anybody. That's what AJ Styles was doing. And in his his first title defense, Cody Rhodes got from many people what is a perfect wrestling score. And that just makes you go, well, he's a pretty good champion, and he can just build and build and build. Now, I get it. We want to get to the Gunthers and the CM Punks and the Roman Reigns, maybe. Who knows what else? But we have all the time in the world for that. And actually, if Cody Rhodes is the guy to lose his title at SummerSlam or Survivor Series, as long as he wins it back by the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, that will be fine. But again, even if he did lose it at one of these premium live events, everyone is now saying at WrestleMania 41 is going to be The Rock versus Cody Rhodes, WWE Championship versus People's Championship. Now, I think that People's Championship is a bit silly, but I do understand this too. It means if something happens and Cody has to lose that championship, The Rock and Cody can still fight in the main event of either night 1 or night 2, probably night 2, with a title on the line, and Cody should beat The Rock, probably via some nonsense because of Roman Reigns. So I just think Cody Rhodes is a super duper star. He sold $1 million worth of merch over WrestleMania weekend. That extra chart came out today, and he's still number 1. He is shifting t-shirts like nobody else. He puts in the work. He puts in the hours. And we kind of borrow a line I just said about Damian Priest. Nobody has bound themselves more than Cody Rhodes, who left in 2016 because he wanted this spot. He worked his ass off, and he's super nice, and I can't say more than this, but I know he has gone out of his way to help so many people. And while that doesn't tie in here, it does tie into my opinion of him, because I think he's absolutely fantastic. So I'm so happy that Cody Rhodes is the champion. I'm excited for all the feuds we can do. Again, there's a Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, there's a CM Punk, there's a Roman Reigns, blah, blah, blah. There's The Rock. I mean, imagine I told you that back in 2016, that in less than 10 years, Cody would be back in the WWE and fighting Dwayne Johnson. You would have slapped me around the face, and you would have been right for it. So if you're saying, Simon, you're a Cody fanboy, you damn right I am, and I'm damn proud of it. Number 1. Now, of course, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe, and more importantly, leave a comment below and let me know how wrong I am, because I'm always wrong, and you can click the notification bell too. It's also grillermind.com/Simon if you want to get some supplements, get 10% off, and use my code, which helps me a little bit. I appreciate it. Patreon.com/Simon316, Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter, Simon J. Miller on the TikTok, Simon Miller on Cameo, and then it's Pro Wrestling Tees and Samson Athletics on the wrestling t-shirt stuff. What am I talking about? Make sure you come to the last match as well. We've got 10 days left to go, and then I will be home, which is now kind of terrifying, but I appreciate you sticking with me. See you soon.